Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Taylor Talks Trades. In this episode I'm sitting down with Archie McKinnon from Archie McKinnon Painting and Decorators. We're going to dip into a few different things in his industry, what's going on in there, what's the landscape is with apprentices, and also we're really looking forward to speaking about his new academy that he's built. Welcome on Archie, how are you doing?
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Good to see you mate. How's things then? How did you get into the trades?
Back in the day it was your dad's pal, it was always your dad pal for the pub. I take him for an interview and here we are 26, 27 years later.
Yeah.
So it was a good pint for my dad.
So that was it. It was just was it set in kind of written in the stars almost kind of thing? It was always going to be, look, your dad was like that, right, that's how it's going to...
No, definitely no. I wanted to be I didn't want to be a painter.
Right.
So I tried a lot of different companies. I wanted to be a joiner. I thought they were more glamorous.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. So last resort was a painter, but never looked back.
Yeah, no, that's good. And then getting into that, what was the sort of setup? Just normal sort of apprenticeship and
4-year apprenticeship through the CITB.
Yeah.
So.
And that's a proper traditional route, eh? That's the way to kind of.
That's it. That's.
You know, there's a lot to be.
It's good for the apprentices. Do you know?
Yeah.
It's a governing body almost, so you know they're getting a good trade behind them.
Yeah. And how did you find that then? Was that all right? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that. I got apprentice of the year as well. Yeah. So that's what I want for all the apprentices coming through. Yeah. Not just my youngins. Yeah. All of them coming through. Yeah. Do you know, it's
focus on the quality, and it does. Nah, definitely. And then what was how did you end up getting into it yourself and that then? What was the sort of, so did you work with, was that your dad's mate's company at that point? And then where did the kind of come about that you thought, right, I'll give this a crack myself?
Well, it was quite a small company, maybe 7 or 8 people, and it was all kind of private work, hotels and stuff. So one of the tradesmen said to me, you're always going to be an apprentice. Once your time's out, you need to leave. So I did, and I went to a company just doing all new builds and stuff. Yeah. I was with them for a while, but being a painter, you always done loads of homers. So I thought, the homers were building up, I thought, I could maybe give this a go. And you know, I chucked it, the company, and went on my own with a £300 homer. Do you know, imagine doing that these days, when you pay your phone bill.
I know. It just shows you the way. But it's good. The thing I like about it is, and I see this a lot with people that come on the podcast, is we just believed in ourselves. Yeah. Like I did the same thing. It was like I'd done my apprenticeship. I was now a tradesman. That sort of same idea where you're going to yourself, am I ever going to be seen as an actual tradesman here, or am I always going to just be the apprentice? And you're kind of on that rate, but you'll maybe get here if you do this and that. But you're looking and you're going, how do I earn better money? How do I progress? And you couldn't see it. And that's when I turned to going, I'm going to be self-employed. And I had been doing the homework jobs at the weekends and evenings and stuff. And it gives you a wee feel for like speaking to different people, different customers, winning a job as such. And then you kind of feel your way into it a wee bit, then you're like, I'm going to go for this. And I remember when I did, it was like, it just all happened so fast. Like I was trying to give like 4 or 5 weeks notice and stuff, and my boss was like, nah, that's you on Friday. If you're a competitor, see you later. And that was it, like right in at the deep end. And I was the same as you, honestly, like, it was maybe a wee bit more than 300 quid like worth of work, but it was like it was a week's work or 2 weeks work maximum. And then I was like, and you know, like before you were doing them at the weekend or you were doing it at the evening, so it maybe takes a wee bit longer, but when you look at it and you go, right, there's my first week, Monday to Friday, and you're like, I'm going to be done by Wednesday. And then that's it, like I'm out in the big bad real world here kind of.
All of a sudden you had to price work to get it, because it's not like if you're doing a homer, you've still got your company's work to fall back on as a wage. So
you're just going, well, what do I kind of want for that? That'll maybe get me, that'll go towards a holiday fund, or that'll go towards something.
Sometimes you undervalued yourself as well to get the work, because you needed it. Yeah. Do you know, you had all of a sudden you had a van on the road, which you used to think your employer got the van, the fuel and everything for nothing.
Definitely.
It kind of reality kicks in quite quick.
Yeah. But then, so you got going anyway and picked up for there, and you've built quite a bit of a team now and stuff, eh?
Yes, well, when you start doing new builds, it just creeps up on you. Do you know, deadlines, programs, how sales dictate how fast you go, and then word gets out and you get another site, then another builder approaches you. And before you know it, you think, how many men have I actually got here? Do you know, you're looking back going, I only had 2 men last month. All of a sudden you've got 10, then you've got, now we're up to 26. Do you know, because that comes with office staff, accountants, QS, so it's not just a man with a van anymore.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's probably like if there's any sort of young people that listen to this podcast, that would be my advice to them is you can start with like £300 worth of work, and then you can be, albeit years down the line, but you can be employing the best part of 30 people there. Do you know, that's 30 families you're helping feed the ripple effect that has throughout the community and stuff. Like, as hard as business can be, like that's quite rewarding, and that's where, like with this podcast, you know, I like to get guys like yourself on to celebrate your wins, because nobody really says to us, oh, well done, or you've done a great job. You're just always doubting yourself, second guessing, and then going, what's next? Because you're always you're always thinking, even from that beginning early lesson, like that 300 quid or whatever, it's like now you're going, what if the work runs out? What if this happens? What if we've not got enough guys to fulfil the jobs and stuff? But what's the kind of general landscape of your industry now then? We're
just all new builds.
Yeah.
Because we've tried to diversify. My background is private work.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of houses and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I was saying a minute ago, program dictates, and the market is picking up for house builds.
Yeah.
So I can't have somebody painting Mrs. Smith's living room for a few £100 when you've got a house in Edinburgh that's just sold and they need it.
Yeah, so no, it makes sense.
So
you've niched into the sort of commercial sort of model house builders. It's good though. I think that's another big thing that I teach guys that I work with, like trades business owners that I mentor. Like, I'll say to them, find your niche, and we've found ours in the private homeowner sort of market. Like that's where we've ended up. But I don't always say, well, that's the way to go. It's just, but make sure you find your niche, because it's almost like that old saying, you know, the person who chases 2 rabbits catches none sometimes, because you're, like you said, you're trying to keep a house builder happy, but we Mrs. Smith's needing this job done, and then you try to pull him for here, and all programs and stuff. So it's sometimes find your lane and stick in it. And
you know, you could have a site that's a 5-year program. That's good. The margins are quite tight, but you know you've got 5 years work for X amount of guys on that site. So it's not just for myself. I'm looking at it for them as well. So they've got a wage for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Sites maybe take 4, 5, 6 guys for that 5 years. That's guys that know that they're getting a wage for that.
It's good to have that comfort zone, I guess, as well, to know that that's what's ahead.
And just with the way the industry is and the economy, everybody thinks they're a painter. Yeah. Do you know, everybody can go to B&M and buy a set of brushes. And
TikTok's got a lot to answer for that, do you know, I think as well. It was like mad TikTok dances, and people just like COVID was like, took DIY to another level.
I know, everybody had shaved heads and painting kits.
People just had like their 4-year apprenticeship like just crammed into the time of COVID, you know. It was what will we do, right, I'll become a painter, and you know, it's
and now they've all got jobs.
Exactly. Half of them may be working for you now. Only kidding. But no, I think it's true what you say, and I think roofing, because my main business is roofing, but they're quite low barrier to entry trades, is what I would say. Whereas I guess sometimes if you're maybe thinking of like gas engineers as an example, I know that they've brought in sort of more fast track ways of getting your tickets there now, but rule of thumb is sort of you can't just become a gas engineer. But there is that argument where you could probably, if you wanted to be a roofer, you could have maybe laboured with a roofing company. Like somebody could be out labouring with us for a year, say, and then they could decide, I'm going to have a go at this. They could go and get a van, they could get a set of ladders, and if they're quite good at marketing and showing a wee bit of, you know, just looking presentable enough, then they could probably get some work in and just be like, I'm a roofer. Nobody's going to go, show me your qualifications, show me this or that. And I think painting's very similar. So guys like yourself have probably got a bit of a battle we're fighting there, because you're competing with people that maybe just haven't done the long yards, they've no done the apprenticeship, they've no then got other guys through apprenticeships, they're no sort of part of like governing bodies or sort of industry accreditations and stuff like that, but the end user sometimes they just won't know that. I don't know if that's as bad for you in the house builder thing, because I'd imagine they're probably going to make sure people's on the...
Well, the amount of guys I've had that says that they've worked for X, Y and Z, you took them on and you thought, wow, like, how did you even get through that gate? Yeah. Do you know what it is? It's really bad out there, especially for our industry just now. Yeah. Because you can become a painter with a £20 kit.
Hi guys, sorry to interrupt the episode, but I just wanted to say a massive thank you to Scope Branding for being our new podcast sponsor. As you're aware, if you've been listening and following the podcast, I'm really big on my branding and having branded workwear. We've teamed up with these guys. They've done all our work at Taylor Roofs, Taylor Solar, and now the Taylor Talks brand here that you can see. They're good quality, good prices, and really good service. Go and connect with Scope Branding on their social media channels, check out their website, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. So you've probably, with this new academy that you're starting, I'm intrigued to find out more about that. It looks great for what I've seen online. So like, first of all, well done on actually taking the plunge and doing that, because I'd mentioned to you before we actually started recording, but like we've been looking at the idea in academy, and it's quite an overwhelming thought about how much could go into it without that much return. You don't know what you're going to get out of it. So first of all, well done for getting off the ground, but is that coming from a place of, like, you've hit your ceiling, there's probably just no any great quality painters left, you've had all the ones that you probably get, you've hired them, and you're going, if we want to grow this business any further, we're going to need a funnel to bring people in. Is that where this comes from?
Do you know, you hope that a lot of the good painters are with companies, and fair play to them if they're showing loyalty and staying there. I'm not about to start poaching people. It's not the done thing. Yeah. If they come to you, well, fine. But the market is really bad for painter just now. Yeah. You know, you'll get people phoning you up saying, oh, I've done this, I've done that. But then you take them on site and they kind of show you up, you know, they make you look a bit of a fool at times. Yeah. So I thought, right, just start at our own academy. Yeah. I found a premises, like 2,500 square feet, and just kitted it into individual booths. So they're going to go to college as well. Yeah. So they'll do their CITB with the college, because I'll not give them an accreditation, whereas the college will. Yeah. I don't want to hold the ACE cards and just saying, well, you work for me, you need to stay with me. Yeah. So the college will have them 1 day a week as well. And my hope is they progress faster than they would just doing college. Yeah. You know, so...
Well, it lets you be in their ear as well, and gives them a bit of sort of an understanding of what this is, and you probably can vet them a wee bit differently if you say, this is how we're going to put you through it, like, are you up for that? Because you do find, like, sometimes with we've trialled with like what's called an MVQ level 2 in roofing. So it's the traditional 4-year apprenticeship, it's usually 2 years short at college, then 2 years short of on-site assessment. So the MVQ level 2 is more or less the back end of that. So it's for guys that came to us that they've just hit the ground running. They're maybe a wee bit older, i.e. they're no 16, just fresh out of school, but they're like, I don't want to go back to college. Like, I didn't like school, I didn't want to be in a classroom again, I just want to be on site. So we've trialled with that, and to a point it's working. Those guys are able to get ahead a wee bit faster, get paid probably a wee bit more as well, because they're given a bit more than what an apprentice would or is expected to. And then the thing that we found though is like that training element does kind of lack. So us no having our own academy, don't get me wrong, we have got roofing rigs and things, and we can bring them in at weekends and we can give them bits and bobs, but we've not fully formalised it yet. So what you're saying there makes perfect sense to me, in the sense that you're still giving them the traditional, but you're actually just implementing a wee bit of something else here that isn't just sticking them on site and letting them fall between the cracks possibly. It's giving them a real good opportunity. I like it.
I teach them myself. I don't bring somebody else in. So when I've got them in 1 or 2 days a week, whatever the college dictates. But it's just to refocus them as well. Do you know, to keep them going, because
it's mindset too, isn't it?
How many of them actually go home and probably say to their mum, it's not for me. And parents are quite bad. Oh, if you don't want to go back, don't do it. Do you know, you can go to work in a supermarket, which you know, you've heard some horror stories about parents aren't on our side. So when they're with me, they get their breakfast, lunch, you know, they're well looked after. So it's a wee bit like a cuddle at the same time as, right lads, we'll have a wee bit of fun while we're teaching you at the same time. So they look forward to next Tuesday and the Tuesday after or whatever. And it's just about, like I say, keeping them focused and keeping them wanting to go.
No, so it's a good way to go. I think for like it sounds great actually as well. You know, it's a good opportunity for them, and I think that's where, as an industry, like we're so far stretched. Like you were saying, the margins are quite tight on site. The sort of deadlines, just the pressures from everyone. You know, it's constantly in the media about the cost inflation and the price increases and everything, and obviously you feel it ripple out as well. But when all the focus is on all those negatives, ultimately people kind of try and tighten up a wee bit, and that just, you feel that ripple throughout. And I think for probably most trades businesses, I would say that training is probably quite far down their sort of priority list, because it's so difficult to get it. You know, you're first and foremost, you're trying to stay in business. You're trying to keep everyone in their job.
And that's a stress on its own.
And it would be great if you could just say, do you know what, we're going to stick on like an extra 20% to every job that we price that goes to the training pot. Like if you could do that, it would be solved. But then it's almost this point of, now the customer's losing, because they're now just paying for you to train your staff. So it's you're really caught in that really tight spot. So it's a hard one.
We've had zero funding, which we've went down different avenues, and I was quite disappointed with what's out there. They just say, we'll just put them to college. That's your funding revenue, basically. There was nothing to say, oh, do you know what, we'll give you a grant of some description to get the academy. It was just, you're on your own a bit.
It absolutely is. I know one of my friends, Mark Glasgow, he's got the Edinburgh Boiler Company, so they've just started the Energy Training Academy, and he was the same. Like I think they had to kind of front it all to start with, in the hope that they could build something that looked really good, and then eventually, you know, the local authorities or whatever would get involved. But I think they had to do a lot of the work before anybody was even interested. And I know from my own personal experience that, you know, we've took the Roofing Academy idea to multiple different people, and it's almost like they want like the business plan, this, that, the next thing, and you'll know yourself, it's like, we didn't go to business school, you know, we were trades guys that learned business as we went. Exactly. So do you know, that's almost like just another hurdle where you're like, business plan, right, okay, right, I've got a rough idea, but to be honest, some of it is like, you know, it's on paper it maybe doesn't look like it's going to be the best business, but it's something new, it's innovative, it's disrupting the marketplace a wee bit, but it is difficult, and that's why I said to you, like, hats off to you, because you've done it. What would amazing look like then if this all goes to plan? What's going to happen?
I want the people coming through the academy to see their time out. You know, I want the industry to grow without. It's got a stigma. Our trade's got a bit of a bad name. Do you know, if you can do this, you can paint. Do you know, I'll not mention that.
You're trying not to swear there.
So if you can do that, you can paint.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some of them try, because the standard in a new build house is absolutely impeccable. Do you know, if there's a midge's footprint on those walls, you're getting picked up for that. So it's no, you get people saying it's house bashing. It's not, because people are paying good money. You know,
some of these houses, you know, even some of the starting prices are phenomenal. So
exactly, so they want the best quality, and it goes through site agent, construction director. You know, there's so many hurdles you've got to jump over before you actually get paid on it. So we've got to want to put the best into it, and that's where I want to be. I've got a young family. We need to keep going. I've got a lot of people depending on their wages, so I can't just go in there with a gun-ho approach where I will see how it goes. This has got to work, and we'll do whatever we've got to do.
No, that's brilliant.
Make it work.
And in terms of numbers and stuff like that, like is it going to be quite scalable? Because I know that you were saying it's sort of you now, so you'll only want to be you, and you're trying to do everything else. Is it something you'll be able to scale, or do you need to get the first kind of cohort, if you like, through? First group of guys through or something?
Well, we've got 3 in just now, and we can alter the days, so it can go to 6, it can go to 9, it can go to 12 if needs be. but I'll take the headache with the first 3 first, and see how it goes from there. And it can be altered, like upscaled or whatever. And we've also got a booth as well for a trade test, you know, because we get a lot of people coming, oh, I was a painter, who was, my uncle's friend was this. Right, okay, I'll pay you a day's wage, come in here, show me what you can do, and then I can put you on site if you're good. The amount of people go, no. You know, so that they've no, and it was a day's wage they get, even if they come in, they can't do it.
There's probably a lot of ego around that as well though, eh? But
I've got my business to think about.
Yeah, no, that's good.
These egos.
That's a good filtering mechanism actually. And even for your clients that's working, that's getting you in to do their jobs, you know, that's got to be an extra bolt on that sets you apart, that you're saying, look, you're not going to get just any painter on site, they're going to have been approved through our academy. And I think that's where the whole sort of how you market yourself and put yourself out there, if you do a good job at that, I think, like if I use Taylor Roofs as an example, like I would imagine if somebody went to another roofing company, anyone in Scotland, and said, look, I've been through the Taylor Roofs Roofing Academy, then I think it would be quite well accepted. I think they'd be like, right, well, they're a good quality company, they do a good job, loads of good reviews online, good brand, whatever, that makes sense. So it's like, it's probably about you just doing that same thing, like continue to put yourself out there so that effectively the Archie McKinnon approval is as good as the CITB approval or any other one, and hopefully better, really, because it's more niched into exactly what's needed for, if it's the house builder sites, then it's specifically that. Yeah,
well, we've had the Decorators Federation and the CITB out. We've actually got the council coming as well. Just everybody's kind of jumping on it, and they're excited about it. Yeah. But it doesn't mean they're going to give me any money.
I think if you can prove concept, I think that's it. Because if you've not got a massive business plan at the beginning, I think if, say, you get those 3 lads that you've got just now through it, then, you know, or at least get them so far along the line where you're like, look, we're retaining them, they're enjoying it, they're earning money, they're learning, like getting their feedback, their testimonials, you know, then like even if they start doing really well in at the college as well, it might be a sign of, well, this is because they're getting this extra additional training. I think if you prove concept, people will get behind it. I just think it's difficult, and it's always been difficult, but even more so in today's economy, like nobody wants to really take a gamble on you.
No, and that was always on the back of my mind, but you know, I just got the head down and thought,
good on you.
That's it.
And that's what entrepreneurs do. You know, that's how you've made it in this far in business, by just, right, I'll put myself. We didn't like to fail at things, do we? So
do you know what? I've got a good wife behind me as well, so she's very patient.
Yeah, I can imagine. You're putting better flooring in the academy than you are in the house. So
she still goes on about that flooring every night I go home.
No, that's brilliant. And if anybody was looking to try and join the academy, or even getting in touch with you guys, like what's the best way for them to get in touch and go through that process?
They can certainly send in an email. So what I've done with the apprentices to start with, I held an open day. So we got some names to the college. So rather than make it a one-on-one sit-down interview where kids would just melt these days, I said to them, bring your mum, dad, friend, whoever.
Hopefully they can paint as well.
Well, I'll get to that bit in a minute. So somebody brought their mum, great. So let's the parents or guardians, whatever, see what you're giving out. Do you know, just the fact that they're getting fed as well. It's, you don't know what's in their private life. So it was good for them to see that. But as you were saying, their friend, the wee guy came and the rain was coming in horizontal, and the two of them came through this door. It was like something, a horror movie, and the two of them were like drowned rats. And I'm like, he says, oh, I'm Miles. I says, all right, Miles. And who are you? He goes, I'm looking for a job as well. So the two of them started. Brilliant. And I says 10 out of 10, because they came for the bus station, got there, and I thought, that's a tick in the box straight away. Just the fact that they could have said, nah, it's raining.
We'll not go for that today.
We'll phone them and say that the bus is broken.
Sometimes you maybe see them pulling up and they're getting out like their mum's car and their mum's trying to drag them in or something like that.
And you know, we had other kids, one of the mums phoned me up and says, he can't make it, he's froze. Which you've just got to say, we wish him all the best if anything changes in the future. But it's quite daunting for a lot of kids. Because a lot of them just play Xbox or whatever.
Yeah. Nah, thanks for sharing. And what's next for you then? Is it just more of the same on this?
Yes, more of the same. Just keep going. Just stability for myself and the workforce. Really, we don't want to go too big too quick, because I think standards could slip a bit. So we're just trying to steady the ship, give the customers what they deserve, and take it from there.
It's awesome. You can see that with what you've done. Thanks for coming on, mate. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. Brilliant. Thank you, mate.